New Hampshire, New Hampshire, New Hampshire, all day long, the countdown to New Hampshire. All right, it's tomorrow. Donald Trump heavily favored to win, and if he does, he might just have the whole thing locked up. So while the whole world is consumed with New Hampshire, I want to talk about another place, South Carolina, where I'm told nothing wrong or bad ever happens down there.
Moms and dads held their heads up high. Children learned that it was always
It's a great day in South Carolina. It's a great day.
It's a great day.
A great day.
a great day in South Carolina.
Schmaltzy, corny, and not true. Every state, it doesn't matter. People have good days and bad days there, here, everywhere. Just insincere career politician stuff, right? Okay, you know, she's a big cheerleader for South Carolina until now. Until right now, the eve of the primary we just talked about, she's desperate. So she's slamming the great state of South Carolina.
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day for being brown. So anyone that wants to question it can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the deep South as a brown girl.
Wow, huh? Where have we heard that kind of thing before? Bad-mouthing America on the eve of an election. So I actually looked up her autobiography. It didn't happen every day. It didn't. It was there, yeah, she mentioned it, but now it's kind of desperate, right? And everybody gets teased about something in school. You should have seen my teeth. They called me Tombstone. I had buck teeth for a while. All right, keep going.
Anybody can look at my record and see when Walter Scott was shot down by a dirty cop, how I made sure that the Walter Scott family didn't suffer because we put the first body camera bill in the country in place.
Okay, follow this, right? This guy named Walter Scott, it's a bad shooting, shot in the back by a cop. That happened. And she says she eliminated the suffering of the family by passing some bill. No, the family still suffered, but these career politicians, they just think they think they're godlike. You know what I mean? I did this, and the suffering of the family, she did not address that. And anyway, there's more of this.
If you want to know what it was like growing up, I was disqualified from a beauty pageant because I wasn't white or black, because they didn't know where to put me. So look, I know the hardships, the pain that come with racism.
All right, this is just not the tune she was singing. I mean, it feels like a matter of weeks ago when she was hanging around by the railroad tracks talking about what a great life she had in South Carolina.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race. I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. Not black, not white. I was different. But my mom would always say, your job is not to focus on the differences, but the similarities. And my parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America.
Every day? I thought every day you were getting made fun of because your brown skin just doesn't add up. It's so insincere and inauthentic.
Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up. Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth.
All right, but on the eve of the election, you're crying racism all over the place and talking up your record at the United Nations, and we should address that. Who remembers a guy named Otto Warmbier? This was an American college student, I believe, who, he was arrested in North Korea, the last place you want to be arrested. Obama was president. They threw him in jail. Bad things happened to him. And when he finally left North Korea, well, he had several medical episodes. He was in bad shape, and he died, I think, a few months later. So here we are, again, on the eve of the election. Donald Trump made this a priority to get this guy out of North Korea. And they got him out of North Korea. Listen to Nikki now.
I told Fred and Cindy, speak up, get loud, make sure I will help you. Let's partner. We're going to call North Korea out. I passed the largest set of sanctions against them in a generation by pushing China and Russia to do it. But what did Trump do? Instead, he talked about love letters going back and forth to Kim Jong-un. Cindy would contact me. She was so upset. And he went and said, oh, but Kim said that he wasn't aware of any torture that happened to Otto. All you had to do was look at Otto when he was returned back to his parents.
Yeah, I mean, she's making it sound like an argument at the PTA meeting. I'm sorry, it sounds very kind of small, although there are big issues at the PTA meeting. Cindy, she's bringing Otto Warmbier's parents in. I passed this, I passed that. It was Trump administration policy, right? And it just, Trump is the guy who got him out. And once he's out, Trump still has to lead, okay? We had to make peace with North Korea. I think the world is a better place, actually. You know, the State Department hated it. I guess Nikki hated it that this moment happened with Kim Jong-un and that President Trump actually entered North Korea, the DMZ. Remember that? I think this made the world a better place. I am very sorry about what happened to Otto Warmbier's, But after a point, you know, we have to do what's right by America, and I think that's what President Trump did. So Nikki is pretty stuck on herself, isn't she?
I remember at the United Nations, I had to sit him down and tell him to stop this bromance with Putin. I mean, you can't have someone who's trying to buddy up with dictators that want to kill us.
Sit him down. You know, that did not happen. Here she is taking fake news talking points about Putin. And, oh, the fake news is coming to her defense because Donald Trump had the audacity to call her by her name.
Trump has sharpened his attacks against Haley, even resorting to calling her by her first name, Nimrata, an attack meant to be a racist dog whistle against his rival.
Donald Trump is using her given name, Nimrata, as a way of making her an other.
No, you're not hallucinating. They actually say that Donald Trump using Nikki Haley's first name, folks, is racist. This is absurd, obviously. Can we see her full name? All right. This actually is Nikki's own fault. Nimrata Nikki Randahawa, that was her maiden name. You know, you should have told us initially that your name wasn't Nicole. I mean, I thought Nikki was short for Nicole. Here's the deal. You could have cleared this up a long time ago. Not cleared it up. Just say who you are. We shouldn't be learning about a candidate's name on the eve of the election. It's inauthentic. It's on her. Maybe she didn't trust us enough, right? Because she thinks everybody's racist. The same thing happened to Ron DeSantis, okay? Remember there was a whole thing about DeSantis, whether it was DeSantis or DeSantis. I mean, he said it one way, his wife said it a different way, and it got the media talking.
Here's who Ron DeSantis, who doesn't even pronounce he doesn't know how to pronounce his name. It's either DeSantis or DeSantis, depending on whether his wife is telling him what it is.
Who knew the long versus short version of a vowel could cause all this political calamity? But the governor seemed unfazed when asked what the final word was on how to pronounce his name.
This is trivial, but it's getting more strange by the moment. Which is it? Well, like we said, we want to call him whatever he'd like to be called, but he won't even say it when asked directly about it.
It is true. They put it right to him. And Trump was kind of making fun of this, and that's okay. It's politics. So how do you say DeSantis? DeSantis. How do you say it?
I've got a long last name, European name, Steinhauser. There's been some confusion over your last name and the pronunciation, and I'm just wondering, to correct the record, what is it?
Oh, this is ridiculous, these stupid things. Listen, the way to pronounce my last name, Winner.
I'm sorry, but this is one of the many reasons why he didn't pull through. It's an easy question. Why did he seem so pained by it? All right, back to Nikki. I want to point out that Nikki has done incredibly well in politics. This is the house she lived in before she was governor. It's perfectly nice, but it certainly isn't a mansion. Of course, when you're governor, a lot of times you get to live in the governor's mansion, right? Much nicer, much bigger. When you become the UN ambassador, you get a very cool apartment paid for by, well, the taxpayers. It's a penthouse right by the United Nations. And now that she's done with government service, she lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion again. Not my taste, but whatever. And it's on the beach. This is how it works for these folks, right? She says it's about us. No, I don't think so. And let's talk about Ron and her. Let's face it, they were in this race because they were hoping that Trump would get convicted. They weren't rooting for Trump like we are as he goes through this ridiculous process, right? We know it's bad. We know that this is unjust, but they were actually hoping that something else would happen. And I want to stay on this for a moment. You know, Donald Trump went to the funeral last week of his mother-in-law. There isn't a man in America who would not go, if they were married, to their wife's mother's funeral. But again, the judge would not let him. And I am told by prosecutors, defense attorneys, lawyers, anybody who knows what they're talking about, that this is insane. Take a look at what the judge said. You can go to the funeral or you can go to the trial, but you can't do both. Now, here's the thing. One of the reasons why that's so offensive. You know, they let killers out of jail on furlough. They let killers, convicted murderers, go to their brother's funeral. It happens all the time. This guy, they let him out of jail. So how about that one, huh? They are so overconfident. They've gone too far against Trump, and all of this stuff has helped him. It's helped him, right, with us. We trust him more. So New Hampshire is tomorrow, and he looks like he's going to win, and that is thanks to the people, the amazing people who saw through all the fake news, who see that America is in obvious decline, and they want to reverse it. The American people are great, and they can't be fooled. This is also due to Donald Trump himself. He is an amazing figure. There isn't a human being on the planet who could go through this stuff, be in a trial in the morning and giving a speech in New Hampshire at night and winning the thing by who knows how many points, right? And also the amazingly bad Biden, we call it. I mean, this is the worst presidency imaginable. So he's responsible for Donald Trump's comeback in some ways. And also what we call the snobs, the elites in media, in politics, anywhere. They're all over the place. This is what they think of us, of course.
You could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
You would think they would have learned their lesson from Hillary Clinton. You can't besmirch the country you want to lead. You can't. I mean, maybe you just don't like us very much. You just are in it for the money and the power and the perks and whatever. Joe Biden did not learn the lesson. I think he has genuine contempt for the people.
MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy. No matter what the white supremacists and the extremists say, I made a bet on you, the American people, and that bet is paying off.
Wow, you took a gamble on us, huh? And we lived up to it. This is the kind of stuff you say when you're not going to be genuinely reelected, okay? And then, you know, Republicans do it as well. Who remembers Mitt Romney?
Listen to the original comments he made at the closed-door fundraising dinner in May in Boca Raton, Florida, and how his response has evolved in the days and weeks since they first surfaced.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it.
All right. That's not what you say. And if it's in your heart, you really have no business running for president.